If you miss-hit the ball occasionally, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because even the best players in the world miss-hit the ball sometimes. But if you're consistently shanking and miss-hitting the ball, then that's obviously something that you need to fix. And I'm going to explain how to do it in this video. So there are a number of different reasons why you might be miss-hitting so many shots. And we're going to start with the easiest and work through to the most difficult to fix. The first one we're going to talk about is you're potentially trying to hit the ball too hard. This is a very common problem these days because we see professional players playing on TV, they're ripping forehands, they're crushing backhands, and then we step out there on court and we think that it's realistic for us to hit those types of shots. So we're trying to hit the ball way harder than we're capable of doing, and that causes us to miss-hit the ball because there's something called the speed accuracy trade-off. And this is just a phenomenon of how movement works. And what it means is the faster we try and do something, the less accurate we are. And this goes for everything, including tennis shots. If you try and pour yourself a drink, if you do it nice and slowly, you're going to get all of the water into the cup. If you try and do it really quickly, you're more likely to spill things. And you can do a little coordination assessment on yourself. You can have your arm out to the side, and then you can try and touch the tip of your nose with your thumb and see how quickly you can do it. The faster you try and do it, the more likely you are to miss and hit your face. But what's more likely is that you don't want to hit different parts of your face, so you'll do what I'm doing and you'll slow down before you get there to make sure that you're more accurate. So that's the speed accuracy trade-off. It's just how our bodies function in terms of movement creation and coordination, and you have to understand that and factor that into the way that you play tennis. If you're out there trying to hit the ball too hard, that's probably the biggest reason why you're miss-hitting shots. So just dial it back, be more sensible, and hit kind of 50–60% of your maximum racket head speed, and that's going to go a long way and help you to hit the ball more cleanly. The next reason that you're probably miss-hitting a lot of shots is because you're not setting up in the right position, and more than likely you're getting too close to the ball. And you want to record yourself because it's often very easy to see that you're doing this. So on all of our shots, there's going to be an ideal distance that we need to be from the ball in order to use the natural swing path. You might have heard about the inside out swing path before. So we're generally going to be swinging from in to out. And if you look at how far my contact point is from my body, we've got a certain distance there. The vast majority of players get too close to the ball. And when you get too close to the ball, your brain can't use this natural inside out swing path, and it has to compensate in a way. Generally, people are going to start to bend their arm, they're going to over-rotate, they're going to pull off their shots, they're going to bend their wrist, and these things cause the miss-hits. And this goes for the forehand, two-handed backhand, one-handed backhand, and the slice as well. So record yourself, find out if you're too close to the ball, and if you are, fixing that's going to be really important for you. And the way that you approach that is just to be focused and disciplined on it within your practice. Whether you're using a ball machine, whether you're rallying with a practice partner, whatever you're doing, your intent is just to set up further from the ball, just constantly thinking about getting this spacing and getting this distance correct. The next reason that you're probably miss-hitting so many shots is you're having problems with your timing and you're hitting the ball too late. Now, we can't always meet the ball out in front because sometimes your opponent hits an amazing shot and you just have to compensate and do what you need to do. But most of the time, we want to be meeting the ball slightly out in front of our body. Now, the exact contact point is going to vary dependent on the shot, dependent on the height of the ball, and dependent on the grip that you use, but it's generally going to be out in front of your body. If the ball is too far on, so if you start your swing too late relative to the flight of the ball, or you don't swing fast enough, or you can't make adjustments in the right way, your brain realizes that the ball is too far this way, and it serves or has a similar effect to getting too close to the ball. Your brain has to try and compensate. So my brain has been given the task of trying to meet the ball out in front. It realizes that the ball's here. It can't use this natural swing path that we intended to have. So instead, I have to bend my arm, or I have to bend my wrist, or I have to compensate in some way to try and make contact. And it's those compensations that then cause us to miss-hit the ball. Unfortunately, timing can be really challenging to fix. One big reason that people have poor timing is because they're not prepared and set up in the right position in time. So potentially that's something that you might need to address. Or it's just about thinking about starting your swing sooner relative to the flight and the bounce of the ball. So if every time you hit the ball, you're late, you somehow have to find a way to break that habit and start your swing a little bit sooner to give you more time to create the swing and make contact with the ball out in front. Now, something that can be really beneficial here is to simplify your technique. A lot of the time these days, players are trying to use techniques that are just much too advanced for them. Coaches are encouraging players to try and copy the way that the pros hit the ball. And the way that the pros hit the ball is the best way to do it if you have the skill and the timing to make it work. But if you don't have the skill and the timing to make it work, it's not actually the best way to hit the ball. So you don't need to use an ATP forehand where you create a massive racket lag and you throw your racket through to contact. It is perfectly acceptable to just get your racket behind the ball, get into a good position, and then to just hit through the ball. You can have a really good level of tennis playing like that, but just simplifying your stroke is going to massively increase the likelihood that you can make a good contact. Because to go from here to here to here is much more complicated than to go from here to here, or even to just go from here to here. And again, this goes for all of your shots. If I'm hitting a modern style one-handed backhand, to create the racket lag, strings pointing down that way, throw the racket through to contact, there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong in there. So that's the way the pros do it, but that might not be appropriate for you. Instead, for you, you might be better off just dropping it into position and then just hitting through the ball. And exactly the same thing for the two-handed backhand. Do you need this pro-style racket lag, or can you just get the racket behind the ball and hit through it? So often, simplifying your technique is a really important thing to do to be able to hit the ball more cleanly and consistently. The next reason that you're mishitting so many shots, and really the underlying reason why you're mishitting so many shots, and the thing that you need to fix if you really want to change it, is that your eye to foot and eye to hand coordination isn't good enough to play tennis in the way that you're trying to play it. So this is level specific. This isn't just for lower level players. This applies to higher level players. It applies to 5-0s, to 4-5s, to 4-0s. If you are mishitting shots, it means that the skill is limiting you. So if you're a 4-5 player, you're trying to hit a heavy topspin forehand and you're mishitting it a lot of the times, it means that your skill isn't sufficiently high to play tennis with that style, using that type of technique. And if you want to be able to hit that type of shot cleanly without mishitting it, you need to improve your eye to foot and eye to hand coordination, because it's limitations within those systems that cause the problems that I've just talked about earlier. If you get too close to the ball, that happens because players can't read the flight of the ball and they don't have the coordination to use appropriate footwork. If you're hitting the ball late, that happens because players aren't able to start their swing soon enough because they can't read the flight of the ball, and or they can't adjust the sequence of their kinetic chain correctly. So you need to improve how your visual system's functioning and improve your level of coordination if you want to be able to hit the ball more cleanly using that advanced technique. And the great news is this is something you can do at any age using brain-based training. Our brain controls our visual system and it controls our coordination, so we can train and improve how these systems function. When it comes to the visual side of things, there are simple exercises you can do to improve the quality of your eye movement so you can track the ball more effectively. You can train your brain to be able to use both images together to give you better 3D vision, so then you can judge the distance and depth. You can train your visual processing speeds, so then you can react more quickly when you're playing against players that hit the ball harder. And in terms of the coordination, we can train and improve how our body moves. Firstly, we've got to make sure that all of your joints are moving. So maybe if you are slightly lower level and you're a slightly older player, it's possible that your spine isn't moving properly, and that's going to restrict the way that you can use your technique and cause you to miss-hit shots. So you might need to get your spine moving properly. Or maybe you just don't have good coordination in your hips, and that's causing the problem with sequencing your kinetic chain and causing you to start your swing late and miss-hit things. So you can train and you can improve your hip coordination or whatever else needs to be improved, and by doing that, it's going to let you use higher level technique, and it's going to let you make the adjustments, and it's going to let you hit the ball more cleanly. Now, if that's something that you would like to learn more about doing, I've got a class that's going to teach you all about it, and I'll leave a link to it down in the description so that you can check it out. But hopefully everything here that I've said makes sense. You just have to approach things logically. Are you trying to hit the ball too hard? If you are, dial it back. Speed, accuracy, trade-off, it's just how the body functions. Try and hit the ball a little bit more realistically, and that's going to go a long, long way. Record yourself. Are you getting too close to the ball? If you are, focus on addressing that within your practice. Again, record yourself. Are you hitting the ball late? If you are, focus on trying to initiate the swing a little bit sooner, and then alongside that, really working on these underlying systems, because tennis is a sport that's based on skill. The more skillful you are, the better you'll be able to play, the more cleanly you're going to be able to hit more advanced shots. Okay? Any questions about what I've covered here, leave them down in the comment section. Otherwise, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, it really helps me out if you could do that as well. Okay, catch you next time.